We have 52 people on the team now. If you ask me how many people are on my team, I'd say, I don't know, 10. And like, really, who? And then I look at the list like, oh yeah, because I'm not in all of the stuff and I just forget. And then the next thought was, 52 people, that's crazy. But if I believe that it's crazy, then how am I gonna get to 500 people? And it's just always trying to catch the language and the thought patterns that we tell ourselves, because I think most of it is subconscious. And so whether you can catch it in yourself or when somebody else calls you out, that you say, no, 52 people, that's not crazy, Evan. 3 whatever million subscribers we have, cool, that's great. And like, how do we get to 35 million? What does that look like? Nobody's done it. Gary Vee and Tony Robbins and Mel Robbins and Marie Forleo and Les Brown and whoever, and you put them all together, you're still not at 35 million subscribers. So how do I get there? And it feels impossible. But as long as it feels impossible, then it is impossible. I mean, I think the world's biggest problem is people don't believe in themselves because there is no box. It's like, you can just walk. Why I do what I do is I hope that a video that I make, whether it's like this story with you or a Les Brown interview or whatever, that like that's the moment that somebody watches it and realizes, oh, I could just walk. There's no door. I'm not tied to anything.
Need motivation?
Watch the top 10 with Believe Nation.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because as a young entrepreneur, I struggled to keep my business going. I had no friends, I had no mentors, I had no role models. And the thing that saved me was learning from the success stories of famous entrepreneurs. And in their stories, I got motivation, and I also got strategies for what I could do to grow my business and not stay stuck. And I still need their stories for motivation today. So today, let's learn from me and my team's take on my top 10 rules for success. Enjoy. Rule number 2 is embrace change.
Everything in your life will change when you realize that you do not want an easy life. Stop praying for easy. Stop praying for convenience. You don't want it because you don't want to photocopy your life every single day over and over and over and over again. You want variety. You want change. You want something different. But with that variety comes uncertainty, comes pain, comes challenges. And from that pain comes purpose. Ultimately, your purpose comes from your pain, and the more pain you go through, the more challenges you take on, the more you stretch yourself in your comfort zone, the more you're going to be able to reach down and help somebody come up to your level as well. You can only help people to the extent that you have been through something. So the next time you're going through some pain, tell yourself, this is the best, because it's your chance to show yourself and the world what you're made of and will define the impact that you will have.
Rule number 3 is adopt a healthy lifestyle.
This morning, I did my walk outside, I did my yoga, I did my stairs. With the cold, I'm gonna try a couple things. 1, I'm gonna try wearing fewer layers when I go outside. It's becoming winter here in Canada, and it gets really cold in winter in Canada. So I'm gonna try to embrace that a little bit more and wear fewer layers. 2, I do a cold splash every morning. So one of the first things I do when I wake up is I just put a whole bunch of cold water all over my face. So I'm gonna keep doing that. And then 3, after every workout, a cold shower. So I did it this morning. After my yoga workout this morning, turned on the cold, went in, making sure to get it on the backs of the shoulder. This is from Tim Ferriss. That's where the brown fat really lives and comes alive. And so making sure you get the cold water on the backs of your shoulder. The book also quickly mentions cryotherapy, where you stand in a machine and it takes you down to some crazy low temperature. I'm pretty sure he said that it didn't have a ton of research, or he wasn't sure how well it worked, but he did it once. So you know what? I'm gonna look into it too. The goal of this 50-day challenge is that how much can I do in 50 days? To expose myself, to learn, to get ideas, to get mentors. So I'm going to also look up cryotherapy in my town and see if I can find something for me. It is 3:24 p.m. I am officially fasting until 6 p.m. This is a lifesaver. I am so hungry, but you know what? A little bit of Himalayan sea salt and I'm good. I'm good. These next 2.5 hours, no problem. We got this.
Okay, it is 6:30. I get to eat. We're doing a buffet for my father-in-law's birthday. So pro side is gonna be lots of, hopefully some healthy food for me to eat. Downside is seeing all of the amazing other stuff that I can't eat. But it's okay. Let's go. This is Nina's meal. Oh, that looks yummy. Rule number 4 is eliminate negative thoughts.
Imagine that 80% of the thoughts that you've got, 80% are negative. We are beating ourselves up. We are telling ourselves that we can't do things. It's not even our friends and family, the people around us telling us that we suck. It's us, it's ourselves. We tell ourselves we're not good enough, we can't do this, we're not strong enough, smart enough, we're from the wrong country, we look the wrong way, you know, we're too young, we're too old, whatever it is, 80% of our thoughts are negative. And then 95% of those negative thoughts are the exact same negative thoughts that we had yesterday. It's no wonder why we stay small. It's no wonder why we stay stuck, because we've created this reinforcing loop of negativity. This is why I think the world's biggest problem is lack of belief. You know, I'm on a mission every day, wake up, try to make content, try to spread the message to help people believe in themselves more. I think lack of belief is the single biggest problem in the world. And I also believe that everybody has Michael Jordan level genius at something. Like, you are the greatest. You're the greatest in the world at something. And it's not what you went to school for, and it's not what your parents did for a living, probably. It's something completely different. And you have to have the courage to go off and chase it and find it and do it, because the woman who solves cancer should have already solved it by now, but she never believed in herself enough to go to medical school. And now she's a manager in an accounting firm, which isn't like her life, right? I mean, this is where most of us are stuck. Most people wake up and they drive to a job that we don't like. Most people are stuck and barely hanging on and do not like their life and feel like they're not contributing, they're not making any kind of difference, they're not doing anything meaningful or impactful at all in the world. That's most people. Like, imagine waking up and that's your daily reality. That may be you. Or that may have been who you were and you're still discovering and trying to improve and get better. But if 80% of those thoughts that come through your head, conscious or unconscious, are negative, I think a lot of conscious thoughts are negative too. Not just the subconscious, the conscious thoughts are negative. You telling yourself that you can't do something and you're not good enough. And then 95% are the same as yesterday, that we've just created this loop, this negative thinking loop.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there. Rule number 5 is serve others. I want to hit more people. I want to serve more people. Like, people, I want to spread the message of believe. And we're the wonder is, like, it's so possible and people need this so much. And like, how do I make that happen?
What is it that people need that you are bringing to them? What is the problem that you are solving, and for who?
Yeah, I think the biggest problem humanity faces is a lack of belief. I think
in themselves?
In themselves, yeah.
Okay.
Like, I think whatever, cancer should have been solved a decade ago, but the woman who would have solved cancer is a manager at KPMG doing a job she hates because she never believed in herself enough, right? That's my, like, we solve self-belief, you solve every other problem in the world. I have a bias towards entrepreneurs because that's who I love helping the most. So that would be like helping entrepreneurs believe in themselves more, not that, you know, teachers and government and whoever else can't do it. I know your background is in like corporate stuff as well. So like, great, corporations have a huge role to play. I just default to entrepreneurs. But the problem I'm trying to solve is helping people believe in themselves more. I think the way to do that is content at scale. People get to learn from you today and learn to have more self-belief, even though like one-on-one time with you would be insanely expensive. But through my journey, hopefully they can learn a little bit as well through this session. So that's what I'm trying to solve, and for who. Rule number 6 is stay present.
Hey, if you're present-minded, you're going to be a lot happier. You're going to be a lot more focused, right? If you're just thinking about what you should have done or what might happen to you, you're not actually able to be productive and get stuff out right now in the present. And so the job becomes, how do I stay present? And I think a lot of that is accomplished through meditation for most people. If you're in a state of stress, thinking about the regret of the past or anxiety about the future, I think meditation can be incredibly helpful to help you get back to present, even just focusing on your breath, breathe in, breathe out. Even something as simple as that can help calm you down and get you back to the present moment, which then allows you to be able to be productive, solve the problem, be happy, because you're being more present. So for me, that's actually quite easy. I'm in the present a lot more than anywhere else. And I used to think it as a negative. A friend of mine used to make fun of me for having a bad memory. It's like, you have such a bad memory. It's like, and I later realized I don't have a bad memory. I one, remember what's important to me, but two, I'm not living in the past. Like I don't care about what happened. I'm looking at right now, today. I don't know what day it is. I don't know what day it is. I don't know. I know it's 2022 when recording this. I'd have to think about what month it is. I don't know what I'm doing after recording this video. I don't know what I did yesterday. I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow, let alone once I press stop on this video. I am here with you. This is my entire attention, is making this video right now. That's it. This is the present moment for me. And what I've discovered is this is meditation. At least the portion of it where you're getting back to present moment. If that's one of the main benefits of meditation, then this is meditation for me. I'm only in the present moment right now, being here, talking with you guys, and that's it. And I realize that most of my life is lived like that. Yes, I love planning for where I'm gonna go, but most of my time isn't spent in planning, it's in executing, in doing. And I have to look at my calendar to see what I'm doing tomorrow or what I'm doing. When somebody asks me on a Wednesday, what's your weekend gonna look like? Weekend? I don't even know what I'm doing in the next hour, let alone what I'm doing this weekend. And when people ask me on a Monday, how was your weekend? It's like, I don't know. That was yesterday. That was 2 days ago. I got stuff to do right now. I'm working on my life right now. And not just work, even just enjoying, even just life, even just me spending time with my wife or my son or on a trip. It's like, let's enjoy this moment where we're at right now. And so if that's you, I would introduce the idea of, hey, that's a different perspective shift. Like maybe you are meditating right now and you might be overjudging yourself, because if you're in the present, that's one of the biggest benefits.
Rule number 7 is improve your sleep.
I use the Fitbit watch and it tracks my sleep and it gives me a score every day for how well I slept. And I've hit, I think, 89 out of 100 as my best sleep score. And what I would love to do is to improve my sleep score. One of the best things of having a wearable is you have something that you can track. So I want to find a way to consistently be in the 90s and having excellent, amazing, world-class sleep. So on the first day that I was tracking that I did not use earplugs, I got an 88 sleep score, which is pretty good, already up there. When I moved to I don't have it anymore, I threw them away, but I had the kind of black, just ones I think I showed earlier in this video. Very standard, just kind of run-of-the-mill black earphone. They didn't do anything. I got an 80 sleep score, but they were barely in. It wasn't really pulling anything, any of the audio out. Then I went to the hardcore ones, and these ones are amazing. These are the ones that I wore at the Tony Robbins event that I was right up against the speaker and it really pulled it out. So if you want a good earplug, whether for sleeping or not, the brand is called Heroes. Heroes, but with an A, so like Heroes. There's only one left in this pack. Extreme Protection Earplugs, 14 pairs, NRR33, I think that means something. These are amazing at knocking out the sound. So on the first day, I got an 84. So nothing, no earplugs was 88. Black earplugs, kind of standard earplugs, got an 80. These earplugs went up to 84, so we're going the right direction. On the first night. On the second night though, it actually fell down to 73. What happened was I had this in, and when I was sleeping, it caught on the side and it jammed further into my ear, and it hurt and it woke me up, so I didn't have as good a sleep. And so I decided, I'm not gonna wear it. I'm not gonna wear it the next day. And I haven't gone back to it. So overall, I don't think earplugs are the solution for me. So I'm not gonna ongoing be using these. I think the main reason is I don't mind ambient noises. You know, if something broke or something fell or there's a loud noise, a crash or bang, I'm gonna wake up. But overall, I kind of like the ambient noises. It's kind of like, you know, a sleeping machine with the white noise, or I used to fall asleep listening to sports radio at night. I like having a little bit of noise going on. So the earplugs are not helping me improve my sleep quality. I don't think they're hurting, except when it jams into my ear and it causes a lot of pain. So I don't think it's hurting, but I don't think it's helping me.
Rule number 8 is be disciplined.
Discipline is your missing ingredient.
You've got the heart, you've got the care, you've got the desire to serve, you know you could be doing more, you want to do it for the right reasons, you're not just here to make money, you're here to have an impact and to grow and do amazing things. You know you can do amazing things. What's missing? Discipline. There's just a lack of follow through. It's the constant start and stop and start and stop and start and stop. And for me, there's nothing more, not just frustrating, but sad than seeing somebody who's got so much talent and so much potential and so much of a heart, and just seeing them not win because they're not following through, because you're just not doing the consistent enough work, that you're motivated and inspired, and then you're not anymore and nothing happens. And one of the only things that saved me, one of the only reasons why I'm here making these videos and you're watching, and I've had any success in social media, is because I just was disciplined, that I just kept making videos. One of the things I love sharing is my journey of YouTube, because I was not an overnight success story. Every month almost, I'll post to my socials of how I grew month over month, year over year on YouTube. And in the first 5 years, I had 7,000 subscribers or so. So 5 years in of making content, 7,000 subscribers. A lot of you are already ahead of that. A lot of you could get there a lot faster than me. How do you keep going when you're not getting traction? When in year one, you have 100 subscribers. I just had the discipline to keep making content, to keep following through. And 12,000 videos later, here we are. And people can get there faster. You don't have to be as slow as me. I took a long time, and I had a lot of issues. I was shy and insecure and introverted, and felt like you had to be, type A personality to win, and all of these limiting beliefs, all sorts of issues. And you can get there a lot faster than me, but it still requires a discipline to follow through and do it. And I really think it's one of the only things that saved me. Rule number 9 is change your environment.
The environment makes such a huge difference for who you are and your daily habits and what you believe about yourself. And the environment is not just the people who are around you, although that definitely helps. If you've got negative friends or family around you, you want to eliminate them completely or spend a lot less time with them, because it's really, really, really hard to have a beautiful plant grow when it's just toxic waste being poured on top of them. Doable, but really, really, really difficult. And so changing that can really help. And one of the best ways I found to do it is content. It's content. It's why I make so much content for these channels, that hopefully you wake up today and there's a piece of content there waiting for you, whether it's me or showcasing somebody else. Across all my channels, we're making multiple pieces of content every single day to try to hit it in the right way. Maybe today's message with the right voice is the one that makes a difference for you. And if you can shift the amount of entertainment you're doing, or just shutting off the world, some of the content that you consume just helps you shut off the world and escape, versus educational content that helps you learn, improve, get better, and solve the problem, right? Entertainment is let's forget about the problem and just laugh at something else. Education is let's learn to actually fix the problem that is happening in our life, right? I want to lean in on that a lot more. It doesn't mean that entertainment doesn't exist in your life. It's not only education, but if you can shift the needle towards education, to be around the people who inspire you, even if you've never met them, it can really move the needle for your inner dialogue and your self-confidence.
And rule number 10, the last one before some very special bonus clips, is press forward.
I am not feeling so hot this morning. Don't know if it's just the lingering effects of the variant or what, but just super low energy, a little nauseous, a little dizzy, but still getting my sun, still getting my walk, still gonna do my fast, and still make as much progress as we can. Some days you can do more than others. Just make sure on the days that are less than others that you're still getting something done, that you don't mail it in, that you don't give up, that you don't quit. What's the quote? Sometimes you can fly, sometimes you can take the car, sometimes you can run, sometimes you can crawl. Just keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. When life gets hard, when you have every reason in the world turn back, what do? You press forward.
Who's watching a YouTube video for 3 hours? The entire world, right? Like think about, if you're going to teach, if you're going to make a video talking about how do you become an influential leader, where am I going to learn that from? Nobody. And the people who are sharing it, like go to YouTube and search, people are talking about it. Are they as good as Rory Vaden on that topic? No, it's like somebody who came from Instagram and, you know, they're 25 years old and still trying to figure it out, but they're gaining a lot of traction and attention because people like you who actually know what they're talking about aren't on the platform. So there's giant demand and consumption and very little supply period and almost no quality supply. So like, am I too early? Am I too late on YouTube? We're just getting started inside of education. So if I wanted to learn how to become that influential leader, if you did a 4-minute video, how much are you going to teach me in 4 minutes? Not a lot. But if you talk for an hour, or you did a coaching session with somebody, or you had a guest coming on sharing something, people would watch that because it's the best thing there available. And then when you've got your next launch, your book, your course, your program, your private membership, like, I love this Rory guy. Nobody's talking like him. How do I get more of him? And they want to pay for the access to get into everything that you're offering.
And so you don't worry about giving away too much there. I mean, like, how many of those videos is it kind of more like have one really killer 2-hour video, or are you trying to like crank? Because to do that every week would be pretty tough. Not to mention, you know, if you did an hour-long video every week, that'd be a lot of content. Like, what would you be charging for if you were giving away that much? So is it kind of like have a couple key trainings out there and do it that way, or?
It depends what game you're playing. Often the best thing to sell is access. So the best thing to sell is access to a community. So if you're trying to sell your program, your community, which is awesome, I was able to, had the honor to speak in front of. If you had a lot of long form content that was getting millions of views, you're going to convert a lot of those people to want to spend more time with you because they love how you think. Like you're a weird duck. You think differently than other people. Like I want to think the way Rory thinks, and I want to be around him more often. So I want to join his community. It's less about the actual ideas. A lot of people have paid programs. A lot of the same content is in the YouTube video as in the paid program. It's just packaged all together, so it's easy to find. It's sequential. There's community. There's access, and so that's really what we're selling, not just the information. I'm giving you I got nothing to sell here. I'm giving you the best. Like you're asking me questions. This is what I do. This is what I teach. People will still, some of the names that you mentioned, want me to help them with their channel. I'm telling them the same thing that I'm telling you guys right now here on Rory Vaden's show, right? So that I think builds credibility, builds trust, and it makes people want to have a deeper relationship with you and buy all of your stuff.
If you're not happy right now, it's probably because you're not growing. Humans want to grow. We want to learn. We want to improve. We want to get better. We want to feel like we're making meaningful progress somewhere. And when we feel like we're learning and growing and the work that we do matters, we feel great, right? If you felt great when you learned a new skill, when you helped somebody out, when you felt that the work you were doing was meaningful, it felt amazing. But if you have too many days in a row where you feel like it's too hard, it's too big, you're not growing, you're not learning, there's no hope, that leads down a really dangerous and negative path, not where we want to be. And part of why we become entrepreneurs is because we want to grow, right? Because we don't want to have a crappy, boring job working for somebody else, wasting our talents away. I remember I didn't have that many jobs, but I had a landscaping job, which was super boring, just every day, just rolling out grass. And then I had a data entry job where this really turned me off of the corporate world, where I was doing the work of, we had 5 people on my team, and I was doing more work than all of the others combined. And I didn't take lunch breaks. I just kept working. And my boss wasn't happy that because I was overhead lighting gave me headaches. I used to have to bring in some snacks like food or popcorn or carrots or something so I didn't get crazy headaches. And my boss didn't like that I was eating a snack while I was working. And I got into trouble and almost got fired, even though I was doing more work than my entire team combined. And it just really turned me off of the corporate world to realize, hey, this doesn't make any sense.
I wasn't growing. I wasn't learning. I wasn't improving. And so you can examine your own life. If you feel like you're in a rut, chances are you haven't learned anything recently. And so we can plan for this. You can change your schedule so that you can focus on learning. You can put it into your daily calendar. And this is where I think it becomes the greatest benefit, my greatest tactic or strategy for you, for myself, is schedule in learning, schedule in growing. So for me, it's my own videos. I make these videos hopefully for you, that you learn and improve and something sparks for you, but I make them for me. I make them for me because I need it, because I need to be around people who are doing big things, and that I know that every day there's a video for me. It's going to be positive, it's going to be uplifting, it's going to spread belief, it's going to be motivational or inspiring, it's going to be tactical, and I know that on my channel I'm going to get content that I want. And so I've hired a whole team and built a whole business basically around making content that I want to watch, and thankfully enough of you guys want to watch it as well that I can build a business and have a team. But if I didn't, or nobody else cared about it, I would still do it for me. It may not be as fancy, it may not have as much intros and all that stuff, but I would still have it for me because I need it. And so we tend to catch these things too late because it's not part of our habits and routines. So if you notice, you go to an event or you watch a video and you get all inspired and you got energy and you're working and things are amazing, cool, and then have weeks or months gone by and you realize, what happened to me? How did I fall off the horse so quickly? Where did my energy go? Has that happened to you? Chances are it's because it wasn't scheduled. Part of the entrepreneur roller coaster is because we're bouncing from one high to the next without having any scheduled in learning and growth. And so my challenge to you would be to try to figure out how can we schedule in learning and growing every day. And so it starts with figuring out, okay, what medium do you like the most? For me, I like videos. I like being able to see stuff. It just makes it so much easier for me. I'm a visual learner. Before YouTube was a thing, I learned from books. That was the best thing available at the time. Now, I still have a habit of reading 10 pages at least a night, but I don't get most of my learning from books. I get most of my learning from videos. But for you, maybe it's videos. If you're watching this, maybe it's books, maybe it's podcasts, something. Like, where do you get the best learning? And then the great thing about where we are right now is there's so much content, there's so many people to learn from, there's so many people creating things out there that you can go and learn from them. If I look at an Eric Thomas or an Oprah Winfrey, they have a similar message, just a different delivery style. And so whatever you want to learn, chances are somebody's already making content on it. And so just go and find them. And think about who you're following right now. Like, do an audit of who you follow right now. Who you're following on YouTube, who you're following on Instagram or TikTok, or what podcasts you listen to, or what books are you picking up. And how many of those people that you're following or subscribed to actually make you feel ambitious and hopeful and better about yourself and give you strategies and light you up and feel like you're learning and growing, right? This is the whole point of this. We're trying to make growing and learning a consistent habit. So how many people that you're following actually make you want to learn and grow? And how many of them are you just mindlessly scrolling through? When you load your Instagram or your YouTube and you're just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and 2 hours have gone by, and not only have you not learned anything, you feel worse about your life because now you haven't been productive. You've just kind of mindlessly entertained yourself, but it wasn't even that entertaining. You realize, what just happened to the past 2 hours of my life? Has that happened to you? Cool. Unfollow those people. And it's not that they're bad people, just that content doesn't light you up. And then start to be around the people who do. And the easiest way is through content. So if it's my channel, hey, good news, we got content every single day for you. You'll never run out of Evan Carmichael content to watch. But it could be somebody else in marketing or business or entrepreneurship or personal development or whatever category you're in, to subscribe to those people and be around them as much as possible and watch their videos every day. Schedule it in. For me, I go for a walk every morning, call it my Believe Walk. I just like getting some sun on my face and fresh air and getting out of the home. And it just gives me some perspective and a little bit of motion and helps me set up my day. And then I'll have a video going. from my channel. And every morning will be somebody else. It'll be Elon Musk or Oprah Winfrey or Mel Robbins or Tony Robbins or Gary Vee or Tom Bilyeu or whatever. And that's what we do, is pull the best clips that I would learn from, and then we share it with everybody else. But that's a part of my daily routine. And I've seen my own growth and development and learning and bravery and courage and momentum and consistency be directly contributed and correlated to the content that I'm consuming daily. And so step one is to unfollow and unsubscribe from the people who just make you waste time, feel worse about yourself, get envy, or just mindlessly tune out. And step two then is to figure out, I need to make learning, you need to make learning, growing, a part of your daily habit. And so where in your calendar can that fit? If it's over breakfast, if it's a morning walk, if it's an afternoon lunch, like where in your calendar can you put learning from your preferred style, video, podcast, books, etc., learning into your daily calendar? If you did that, your life will change. If you did that every day for the next year, every day, if you did that, if you scheduled that in and you actually did it, and you watched a video, read a book, or listened to a podcast that inspired you, said, you know what, I can do this, I can do more, I can be more, I can accomplish this, I gotta stop thinking small and stop doubting myself and stop telling myself that I suck and I can't do it. I can do this. Like if you felt that energy every day from watching a piece of content that you intentionally put into your habits and routine, every day for the next year, your life will totally transform. You will be a totally different person, which then allows you to serve more, to help more, to make more money, to guide more, to be a leader more. All of it, all of your ambitions and dreams and everything that you want is all possible. But you have to factor learning and growing into your daily, consistent habits and routine. Your energy changes how you show up. When you are happy, positive, optimistic, full of life, creative energy, you make amazing things. But when you feel negative, down, depressed, sad for yourself, low energy, you don't make amazing things. And this is not something new that I'm telling you, you know this. The challenge is we are not in a high energy state consistently enough to stay consistent on our goals, to follow through, to create the momentum. Because we allow outside forces as well as our internal voice to keep us small, to keep us protected, to keep us scared, to depress our courage muscle. And then even though you have great ideas and great ambitions and a great heart and a desire to serve, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen because the energy isn't connected to it. If you've got a big idea but low energy, nothing happens. You don't follow through. And you end up seeing other people with a worse version of your idea but just more energy, go off and do it. Have you ever seen it happen? You ever seen somebody make tons of money, have a huge impact off of your idea? Somebody with less heart and less vision and less creativity, but they just did it. They just got started. They just took action and just stayed consistent in their energy and they made it happen. And you didn't because you allowed the energy to dip. And so if energy is so important, then how do we manage our energy? How do we keep it high? And it doesn't mean that you always have to be on top of the world and you don't have to delude yourself and say, I'm amazing, this is gonna be the greatest day of all time. Like doing things that you don't believe won't help you get the energy that you need, because you'll do those things and say, this is BS, this isn't working. You don't always have to be in peak energy. But what you do need to do is be in the right energy to serve your mission and whatever you're doing today. So let me use me as an example, and today is a great example because I did not sleep well last night, had 2.5 hours sleep, just tossing and turning and just could not get to sleep. So I slept from like 6:30 to 9 o'clock, did not sleep until 6:30 in the morning. And that is thankfully a rare occurrence. Most nights I get 8 hours sleep, 7.5 to 8.5 hours sleep. But on a day like today, when I woke up and did not have a ton of energy, I did not wake up and say, yes, I feel like crushing it, let's go. And I didn't want to do something that would feel fake and disingenuous, because if you don't believe it, then it's not going to happen anyway. So what did I do? Well, first off, videos have to happen today because that's part of my identity, right? So momentum has to happen. So if you start to train yourself and you create a calendar and say, okay, Today is a blank. I'm filming this on a Tuesday. Today's a Tuesday. Tuesday's my video day. No matter what, I'm filming videos. I gotta film videos. It's gotta happen. It may not be my best video, but I'm gonna show up and give it the best that I've got. The best energy. This is a lot lower energy than I would normally show up with a video, but it's a different vibe. It's a different kind of energy, and hopefully it still serves. And maybe you like and connect more with this energy than Evan yelling in the car. I don't know, but videos have to happen. First off. Second, get outside. Get outside, get fresh air, get some sun on my face. If you want to change your energy, you want to shift where you're at and how you're thinking, because it's part physical energy, but also just mental energy. How do you feel about what you're doing and what's going to happen today? And getting out of your home, changing your physical environment, and getting some sun on your face can make a huge difference. So every morning I have my Believe walk, and I'm walking around the park, getting some green, getting some sun. Hopefully it's not raining. Today's a beautiful day. And already it starts to make you feel a little bit happier, a little bit more in the right energy space. Music is a great way to change your energy. And often what we do is we put on songs that make us feel how we currently are. So if you feel sad, you put on a sad song. If you feel low, you put on a low song. If you feel chill, you put on a chill song. Where what we want to do is, if you want to change your energy, put on a song that matches that energy. If you want to feel happy or upbeat, put on happy or upbeat songs. I have a playlist on my channel called #Believe, all caps on the letters, Believe. That's all of the songs that I listen to. And every day I've got that playlist going. I pick a random song and it just starts playing. And they're all songs that if they came on, it would make me move. And when you move, you start to change your energy. What I'm trying to do is, again, not create some fake energy, but something that I can actually connect with. I'm putting on songs that I actually like. I actually like having some sunshine on my face. I actually like doing the work that I'm about to do. But it requires you showing up with a certain level of energy. And then the last one is, who you're feeding your mind with, who are you around, who you're surrounded by, both the people in your life, actual humans, and the videos that you watch or books that you read and podcasts you consume. I remember on the weekend, and you got to guard against this, it's crazy. So on the weekend, I went to go meet an old family friend, and he just had a lot of limiting beliefs about him and what he's creating and where he wants to go. And it wasn't meant to be a coaching session. I'm not there to help him, but just a really negative, low energy on a weekend. And that's not usually part of my routine on the weekend. And so I go to meet him, and my whole day ended up being thrown off until I caught it at night to say, why am I so low and negative today in comparison to what I would normally be? And I thought back, oh yeah, you know what? Ever since I went to see him, I was fine in the morning. I went to see him, and it had this negative ripple effect. You can have a positive ripple effect on people. You watch a video and it can have a positive ripple effect on you, but there's negative ripple effects too. And the people who you're surrounded by, who you're hanging out with, or you're watching on YouTube or podcasts, etc., they can have a negative ripple effect on you as well. And so he had this negative ripple effect on me that lasted almost the whole day until I caught it in the evening. I said, this isn't what I want. It's not even my voice. It's like his voice planted in me. Why am I feeling this way, thinking this way? I don't like it. And so it became a conscious choice, and I applied a lot of the same things. I went outside, reset, get some fresh air. It always helps me. Put on some music, songs that I actually like, not some fake song that somebody else likes and says, dance to this, it'll make you feel good. Songs that I actually like. There are some songs that if it came on, it would make you move. It doesn't mean you get up and dance and go spastic and crazy, but there's some songs that if it came on, you would bob your head, or you would tap your feet or bounce your knee. There's some songs that would just make you do that, right? So put on one of those songs. It would naturally make you feel happier. So I did that too. And then in terms of just guarding against people, I made a note that, hey, the next time I go see this person, he's a family friend. So the next time I go see him, which isn't that often, but still, the next time I see him, I need to remind myself of this. That I need to have my shield ready. I need to give love as much as possible, and I'm not going to allow his negativity to break my shield, you know, to permeate through. And so the more that you can catch those things, the more you'll stay in a more energetic state. And all of this, again, is not trying to force fake energy and have you feel like you're doing something unnatural. I think it's actually the most natural thing of all time. I think getting sun is natural. I think smiling and being optimistic is natural. I think the negativity inside your head was planted there, was put there by other people. That's what's unnatural. When you were a kid and smiling and happy, had dreams for the future, everything was possible. Everything was hopeful. Sure, you had bad days, but you were a happy kid. And all of those dreams and positivity get squashed out of us by other people who hate their lives. And so I think having energy is actually the most natural thing. Not every day has to be on top of the world, but having positive energy is natural. Having sunshine and leading to happiness is natural. Putting on music and dancing and moving is natural. Being around other positive, optimistic, happy people, when you're around them, you'll naturally be more positive, optimistic, and happy. And so it's about finding what is a natural flow for you. That when you do these things, it brings out a better energy in you. It brings out a happier, more positive, more optimistic you. And if you know what some of those things are, you can copy my list if you want, some of them, right? Sunshine, music, videos. Then put it into your daily routine. Put it into your daily calendar. Every day, this has to happen. Because if you did the thing, just imagine this. You've had days when you felt energetic, and you've had days when you didn't, and everybody would give you the out, right? Like a day like today, 2.5 hours sleep, everybody would give me the out. It's like, it's okay, you don't have to do it. There are days when you need to bring the energy. If you did that every day, just imagine, for the next month, every day, you did the thing that puts you in a better energy state. Not that you're on top of the world and then a fake high every day, but a better energy state. You did the thing in the morning that puts you in a better energy state for the next 30 days. How much does your life change? How much does how you show up change? How much does the work that you do change? How much does your bank account change? How much does the impact you're creating change? How much of a better father or mother or husband or wife are you because you're showing up with more energy, more positive energy? I remember I was at a video event, and there were these two brothers who were speaking together.
Okay.
Who were friends of mine. And one of them was seasoned and had like done tons of events and presentations. And the other guy was his very first time ever doing a presentation. And they're on the main stage. They got like 1,000 people plus in the room. And he's like freaking out. His brother may not have been making it better. He's like, yeah, this is easy. And he's like, it's easy for you. I'm struggling.
Yeah.
And I told him, dude, just go out and actually say that you're nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Like just get on stage and just say, I'm nervous. Like this is my first time ever speaking and I'm really nervous to be here. Because it makes you a lot more relatable.
Yes. Yeah.
And so he said that, and some people clapped him up, for even admitting that. And then at the end, he got so much love from people. It was like, that was amazing. I can't believe that was your first time ever doing it. And by him admitting it, it relieved the pressure of having to be perfect, right? It's actually more of an inspiration that you're willing to get up there and risk failing than if it was super easy for you to go off and do. The reason why I did my tour, because I was really afraid to do speaking.
Yes.
I said, okay, I'm gonna do the thing I'm most terrified about, and I'm gonna go speak every 4 days. I'm gonna host my own workshop and speak every 4 days, and who knows if people are gonna show up.
And rule number 10, the last one before some very special bonus clips, is take immediate action.
The first question that came in on the poll was, how can we focus on one thing with too much information? So at the beginning of anything, it always can feel overwhelming, right? If you're thinking about, I want to start on YouTube, I want to start on social media, I want to start writing my book, I want to start, like whatever new project you want to start, it always feels overwhelming. It always feels like it's too big. It always feels like you don't have enough information. You can't wrap your head around what's going on. And so what I like to do is just trying to figure out, where are the boundaries? Like, what is it that I actually need to learn? And at the beginning, I get super frustrated of any project, just trying to figure out where are the gates. Because I love optimizing, I love efficiency, I love making things as tight as possible. But at the beginning, creativity is messy and you can't prematurely optimize something. We try to optimize too soon when you don't know the boundaries. You end up not being able to make any progress. So at the beginning of any project, I will take some time, sit in my frustration, and just basically try to figure out where the gates are around it. So what's the most recent one? I think figuring out AdWords and advertising has been one of those things for me, in figuring out, okay, what ads do I run? How do I put them up? What are the placements? What's the conversions? The demographics, all of the things that seem overwhelming at the beginning. And it's frustrating to know which ads to serve to which audiences, and just testing until I kind of get a sense of, okay, this is where the gates are, and then make it efficient and squish it down and optimize it. So at the beginning, for me, it's just research, right? Research, playing, testing, don't get so overwhelmed by the big picture that you don't take any action, right? Like, what's the smallest possible thing you can just do to start gaining momentum? And then that first step seems impossible, but when you go back, it's like, oh, I did that first step. That's pretty cool. Anyway, so I hope that makes sense, right? It's taking that big idea that seems overwhelming, that seems impossible, and then finding one step that you can do today. Because as long as you have it as some big dream in your head that is impossible, then you never take any action on it. And then, it's a year later and you still haven't done the thing yet because it still seems too impossible. And I see it all the time with entrepreneurs who are getting started. People ask me, how do I get started on YouTube? How do I get started as an author? How do I get started as a speaker? And you think you've got to have this perfect plan and the perfect year and all of this perfect stuff. And then it's a year later and you still haven't done the thing. Immediate action, momentum, whatever you think the problem is with cancer or whatever. Like, well, I think the woman who solves cancer would have solved it by now, but she's a manager at an accounting firm hating her life because she never either didn't go to medical school or never even thought about it, or just never chase it down. Like, I think everybody has what I call Michael Jordan level genius at something. You're the greatest in the world at something. And we either don't believe in that or we don't chase it down, and we end up living a life that is less than what it could be. And so even me, my biggest problem is a lack of belief to get to the next step. And so that's what I wake up every day trying to solve. Never going to do it. And I wake up every day trying to do it.
Your challenges don't only make you stronger, they allow you to serve better. I think the default answer for a lot of people is that your challenges make you stronger. Your challenges will, to grow muscle, you have to break your muscle first. And all of these obstacles that are put in your way allow you to have a better life. They're making you stronger. They're making you more powerful. And that's all true. Yes. And the thing that helps me the most is just tying it back to service. Because I think, humans are built to serve. You are built to serve. When you can connect the challenge that you're going through as something that's then going to inspire and help other people, at least for me, it always gives me a lot more strength and a lot more courage to do the thing that I need to do, as opposed to it just being about me getting stronger. I find a lot of times me getting stronger is not enough. It's not enough of a reason compared to it's going to help somebody else as well. So, if that's you, hope this video helps you as well. So I think about when I was doing my tour 2019 and I broke my neck. It was one of the most challenging times in my life, and that it's already hard enough. I'm already, on the road. We're quarter of the year on the road, 90 straight days, me, Nina, my cameraman, Danny. And there were a lot of challenges in making that whole tour happen, and new city every 4 days, and all of the stuff that goes into, it was my first ever tour. And then I broke my neck 2/3 of the way through. So as if things weren't hard enough, now I break my neck. I can't drive anymore. I'm in insane amounts of pain. I have a concussion, and I'm still making videos. I struggled with the decision. This is a real decision. Do I quit the tour or not? Do I quit the tour? Do I go home? There's still another month on the road. It's not just me. It's also Nina, who has to do a lot more work now. She's got to drive this giant Suburban across the country. Danny, the camera guy, has to do a lot more work. It's a lot of stress. I'm basically out of commission, and all I could do is talk, which is great for speaking, but sucks for everything else. So what do? The thing that made me want to at least try to keep going, I didn't know that I would go for another month, but I thought, let's just do the next city. Let's just do the next city. Let's go to Kansas City. Kansas City was the next stop. Let's go to Kansas City and see what happens. what got me through it was thinking about somebody in the audience, thinking about one of you guys who was struggling with something physically. Up until that point, I dealt with a lot of mental issues, mindset issues, things like believing you're not good enough, lack of self-worth, you don't have a message to share, imposter syndrome, all of those things, right? Even here, we're filming, we're about to go through a car wash. We're next, so we're probably gonna get some crazy noise. I have to talk loud. I used to be so worried about that stuff that I wouldn't film. Like, oh, I can't film going to a car wash, you know, the noise, whatever. Now I look at it as opportunities. Like, let's go. Like, that's not a good enough reason. Maybe the video quality sucks. I hope not. Maybe you can't hear me loud enough. I hope not. But not letting those things get in your way, because that stuff happens all the time.
Was it hard for you to dig inside and say, I'm going to work on Evan?
I love taking on new things. Like, you have a different modality that you want to... Nobody's models ever quite fit me, so it's cool, but I'm happy to try on the next model. You guys, you have your 8-step personality test? Cool, I'm a electrifier. Awesome. Like, it never quite fits, but all of them are good paths. Like, I'm not locked into one modality, like it's got to be the Colby score, it's got to be the Myers-Briggs, there's got to be the whatever, but they all teach you a little bit about yourself. Even down to, I just had my DNA tested, and from the DNA test, they show you, hey, based on your genes, you're more susceptible to these kinds of foods and this kind of activity and all this kind of stuff. Like, okay, those are like, they're averages, so it's a good starting point. I love trying stuff. I love trying stuff for me to learn and also to demonstrate to other people that go try stuff.
Be the change you want to see in the world. One of my favorite quotes, Mahatma Gandhi. If you're not happy with something, you're not happy with a situation, you fix it. That's why entrepreneurs are going to solve all the problems. As much as there's government and big business, I think it's entrepreneurs, it's us. We're going to solve all the world's problems because we see a problem and we want to fix it. We want to solve it. That's what we do. That's the most exciting part of being an entrepreneur, is that you're not waking up and driving to some job that you hate, where the work you're doing does not matter, has no meaning, and instead you get to do something that is actually going to touch somebody's life and that is meaningful to you, right? You get to pick, you get to decide, you get to choose, and we're trying to make the world a better place. We're going to make money doing it too, but mission first, purpose first, and then making money along the way in service of others. And it's in that combination of what you love doing with what brings value to other people that you have a successful business. Part of that then becomes being a leader as well. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with being a leader because at the beginning, we are just managing ourselves, and that's hard enough, right? Like, have you had a hard time managing yourself? Have you had a hard time sticking to your routines and keeping to your motivation and staying strong on the things that you say you're gonna do? Like, self-management, self-leadership is hard enough. Now we're gonna go off and lead other people as well. And where do we learn about leadership? We don't go to school for this. We don't have programs. We don't probably have great mentors to help us. If you had jobs in the past, or maybe you're at a job right now, you probably don't have the greatest leaders around you. Most people suck at it. But it doesn't have to be extremely difficult. And it took me a long time to get used to it and get better at it, and I'm still learning and improving. But we've got almost 40 people on the team now, and when people ask me what's my definition of leadership, it's I want people to win more than I want them to win with me. And so the key becomes wanting the humans that are on your team to win as humans more than you want them to win with you. That you can have this little disconnection. Obviously they have to do the work if they're gonna work with you, but sometimes the best thing for them to do is to move on. Not because they're not doing their job, but because it's the best thing for them. And so when I connect with the people on my team, it's always trying to figure out where do they want to go? What do they want to learn? What do they want to improve on? And I see everybody as running parallel paths with me. So the people around you, the people, even us right now, what we're doing right now, this is a parallel path. You've decided to watch this video. I decided to record this video, and we're sharing this moment in time. And maybe you never watch another Evan Carmichael video again. Maybe you end up watching all my videos and we end up being partners on some future business. Who knows? Maybe I'm seeing you every day in the future. But as of right now, we're on this parallel path together. And when somebody's with you, walking down that parallel path, the goal of a great leader, I think, should be to try to make that person leave better than how they came in. right? Have you ever heard the expression, or maybe it's just something my grandfather used to tell me about, when you go to a hotel or you go to a new city or you go to a new event, they always try to leave the place better than when you came. And hopefully that's our goal for life. In this life, we try to leave the world a little better than how it was when we came in. And so if you take that approach to leadership, that when you're with the people on your team, and maybe it's for a week on some really short internship, maybe it's for a year, maybe it's for 5 years, 10 years, maybe it's for their entire life with you, that they have left a little bit better than when they came in because they got to hang around you. And not taking it as an ego play, like I'm gonna make this person's life better because I am so amazing. It's more out of care, genuine care for the people on your team. And I think when we're first hiring, we suck at it. Most entrepreneurs suck at hiring. Most entrepreneurs, their first employee is not with them, a year, 2 years, 3 years later, because they hired the wrong person. They have no idea how to manage that person. It's not that that person sucks. It's more that, you don't have the skill set. We don't have the skill sets at the beginning to know how to even find the right person, let alone manage them. And so, that's a skill that we have to develop. But I think it just starts with genuinely caring about the people on your team. That yes, they have to get the work done, right? There's a job that has to get done. But how we often think about it is more from a selfish perspective, as I need to get this stuff off my plate, right? You're overloaded with work, right? Are you overloaded with work? We're overloaded with work. So I gotta hire somebody to take this off my plate so I don't have to deal with that ever again, and it frees up my time to go and do other stuff, right? Sound familiar? Listen, at the beginning, when you bring on a team, it takes more time. It takes more time than it frees up because you have to train them, you have to listen to them, you have to care for them, you have to answer their questions. If you treat them like a robot or a monkey, they're not going to stick with you. You're going to constantly be hiring and firing and hiring and firing. And you're going to be massively frustrated and overwhelmed. And a lot of entrepreneurs get stuck in that cycle where, has this happened to you? You hire somebody, it looks great on paper. You're so excited for it to go, and then it doesn't work out a couple months later. And then you decide that, I'm just going to do it all myself, right? I know I can get it done. I'm just going to do it all myself. Does that happen to you? That is not the path to building a movement. You can have a great little solo business for yourself, but that's not how you change the world. That's not how you realize your potential. That's not how you have the impact that you're capable of having. You have to have people around you. If you've got a big mission. If you don't have a big mission, it's just you, cool, go for it. But if you've got a big mission, then it needs to be team. And that becomes a skill set that you have to pick up and learn. And so leadership for me is, again, caring about people as humans more than caring about them winning with you. It's about discovering what they want to learn and grow and improve at, and you being a vehicle to help them do that. And it's surprising how often you can find things that support them and support you. Not all the time. I remember having one guy on my team who his dream was to be a baker. I don't have an interest in opening up a bake shop, right? But ultimately, you should leave us and go do your passion, because I can't help you inside of this job until I open a bake shop that can really support you in what you want to do. And so, even though he wanted to stay, he was staying more out of fear and insecurity than actually doing something he was deeply passionate about. So I gave him till the end of the year. If it was, summer, so give him to the end of the year to, okay, as of the end of the year, you're out and you have to go find a job. I love you, but you have to go find something that is in line with your dream, because you staying here is safe and is actually squashing your dreams. You have to go do your thing. And so, he had to go and move on, and was appreciative for it and giving him time, not like, okay, you're fired next week. And then you have other people though, and usually you can find something inside of what they care about. So the amount of people who I've met on my team who then they want to learn graphic design, or they want to learn Photoshop, or they want to learn copywriting, or they want to learn how to come up with good titles, or they want to learn better communication skills, or they want to learn, they have their lists of the things that they want to learn. It's cool, as long as there's something that we've got that can help you with that, some kind of program, some project, something that can also bring value to the company, then let's do it. Because when people are working on the things that they feel like they're growing in and they're learning in, they're gonna, it's just a good thing to do because it's from the heart, you know? And when they feel connected to your heart, everybody's happier and more productive. But it's also just good business strategy. If you wanna just put your XO business strategy hat on, it's great. This is how karma becomes practical. If somebody's engaged and they feel like they're learning and they're growing and they're improving, you're gonna get the best of them versus if they feel bored and stuck and learning nothing new, right? That's what most people do in their jobs. And honestly, the bar for leadership is so low. It's so low. Most people wake up and drive to that job that they hate. So all you have to do, to be honest, to be their best boss is probably just to not be a bad boss. You don't have to be a great boss. You just have to not be a bad boss. You just have to treat somebody like a normal human being and actually have a little bit of care and compassion and curiosity to see them win in life. You do that, you're already probably their best boss of all time. I think that's a pretty low standard, but it's a great starting point to then be able to say, hey, no, I want this person to have come out of my organization, whether that's in a month or year or 10 years from now, a better human because they were with us. And it's totally possible. It's just a mindset shift that these people are on your team because they have something to prove as well and they want to learn. And it's not just about you saving your time and dumping stuff off of your plate and giving it to somebody else so it can be all delegated away. It's that you are a leader and you care about people and you want to see them win. And you're responsible for making sure that they get pushed outside their comfort zone. You got a big mission inside you. It's a huge mission. And you can't do this alone. And you may not have the skills yet to be the leader that you want to be. Maybe not yet, but you've got a big heart. And honestly, that's the biggest skill that you ever need.
The biggest difference between you and the people who you look up to are that they started and you're still thinking about it. It's one of the most frustrating things in helping entrepreneurs that I deal with on a day-to-day basis is that seeing so much potential in people, seeing so much heart and love and care. It's like you could be serving so much and helping so much and having such a big impact. And we're stuck. We're stuck. And this was me too. I was stuck. It took me forever to get started. And I thought I had to have the perfect cameraman. My first video, if you go back and watch it on my channel, I had my friend come and film it and record it for me because I was worried about it not being perfect enough, that I didn't know the gear and didn't know the microphone and the lighting and the setup. And I memorized the script because I didn't want to say the wrong words. I had to be perfect. Most of my early videos were still mostly voiceover because I could write a script and have it perfect and just have B-roll and it wouldn't be me on camera afraid of making a mistake and saying the wrong things and messing up. And that's one of the main reasons why it took me so long to grow. You know, if you look at my journey of making, what, for 5 years, 7,000 subscribers, something like that, I was stuck. I was too afraid to do the next thing. I was too afraid to get in the race. I was making content at least. That was one decent thing. For whatever reason, I stay consistent on doing stuff, but I was afraid to take the next step, the big step, to go off and do it. And a lot of you are already way better than I was when I started. And when I'm on interviews and I'm doing events and presentations and I see the audience and I see who's there and I see the skill and the heart, it's just this is the thing that kills me the most. It's like the heart. It's like you've got such a good heart. You want to do so much. And then there's just no action. There's no momentum because of the fear. If you could make one change this year that would really move the needle, it would be to stop judging yourself for the content that you're making or the product you're putting out or the service and just expect it to suck and keep going.
How does a person, for lack of better terms, a broken person, get over that to be able to help other people that might be when they themselves haven't healed yet?
For me, serving is part of the healing process. So for me to heal and get better, I need to be helping others, right? So you saw me on that tour. Pittsburgh was, if it wasn't our first stop, it was one of our first stops. It was number one, first stop. And then we went to Cleveland, the last stop. And you saw the difference with me. Cleveland, I had a broken neck. I don't know if you stuck over to the end, like that. I was on the floor for 45 minutes just at the end, because like I was gone. I gave everything. But we had a real decision when I had broken my neck, like, do I keep going or go home? And everybody was saying go home. Like, it's crazy, you go home. Everybody would understand if you go home because you broke your neck, you have a concussion, all this. But for me, I would get more healing by being with people and helping them than me being on the couch at home just healing or feeling sorry for myself or whatever. And I had all sorts of, you know, I was gaining lots of weight because I wasn't moving around. I had like this giant scab on my forehead. I wasn't thinking as clearly as I normally would be. The events were worse, right? I didn't have the same energy. You know, you saw me at the end in Cleveland, but I still didn't have as much energy there as I did in Pittsburgh when I first started, because I wasn't moving around. I'm sitting there for 4 hours with ice packs on me. But that became part of my healing process. So for me, I actually healed more by being with people and sitting with them and helping them than by me being by myself. I haven't gone through any serious depression. I haven't wanted to commit suicide and some of the things that, you know, you've talked about. But one of my favorite expressions, I forget who said it, was like, don't suffer alone. You know, like when you're alone, when you're suffering, just don't be alone. Reach out to somebody, have a community, have a group, have a friend, so you're not by yourself, because you can do stupid things when you're by yourself, when you're really in really dark places. And you pulled yourself off the edge, you know, in there, which is amazing, but a lot of people don't. You're never fully healed, I don't think, but you gain more healing as you continue to help people. At least that's what I tell myself and what I find works for me.
Burnout is real, but I think most burnout happens because people are not doing the thing that they actually love doing. It's not just about being busy and keeping your mind occupied all day. You can be busy and hate your life and get burnt out. If I was an accountant, I would hate my life and burn out in a day because I don't like being an accountant. But doing this thing that I love, I put in way more effort, way more work, and I love it. It's been 10 plus years of still having my YouTube channel, and I'm not burnt out. If anything, I'm pushing harder than ever before because I love it. And so I think it's not just about being busy, it's about being busy on the thing that is your mission for life. Now, compassion fatigue is a thing. Doing it so much that you burn out yourself is possible. But again, that is not why most people are burning out. Most people, I believe, are burning out because they're spending too much time, too much energy, too much effort doing things that they hate. And if you wake up and hate your life and hate the job you're about to go to, then there's no wonder why you feel like you're burning out. So I recently came back from going to Tony Robbins' event in Dallas. He invited me to sit in the front row, and I'm super blessed and grateful to have Tony's support. And I went there with Alex, friend of the channel, who helps me run Toronto Dance Salsa. And we were on a super crunch timeline because Alex was teaching classes the evening before we left, and then the day of the last event. And we rushed down there. Alex was flying in just to get to the event. He's late on the first day. We're rushing to leave on the last day. And it's nonstop. If you've been to a Tony Robbins event, it's all day, all night. It's 8 in the morning to midnight, and then up again the next day and doing the same thing. And it's wild and it's fun, it's amazing. And my favorite thing to do whenever I travel is actually meet Believe Nation, meet you guys. And so all through the event, I wear my Believe hoodie, and I'm not wearing Grant stuff. I'm wearing Evan Carmichael stuff with the plane and the Believe on the back, and people are stopping me. And that's actually the best. It doesn't take away from my experience. Tony's often on stage at the top at the beginning of every event saying, hey, I have some friends of mine, you might know them, they might be celebrities, leave them alone, don't talk to them, let them have their own experience. And it always makes me sad when he says that, because for me, meeting you guys, meeting people who recognize me, and that's a group that I over-index because people who watch Tony videos, you know, they're probably gonna find my content. I like it more when people come and say hi. It adds to the experience for me. And then on the last day, before we rushed out to go to the airport, I set up a meetup, right? I had an hour open before having to get to the airport, so let's do a meetup. Let's do a local Dallas, Richardson, Texas meetup, right? And it could have spent the time doing something else, or sleeping in, or writing my book, or doing anything else. But
it's not burnout for me. Like, that fuels me. That gives me more energy. I love it. Hanging out with Believe Nation gives me more energy than it takes away. And I then took an Uber to get to the airport, and the guy who drove the Uber was actually in the meetup in Richardson. He's like, I gotta leave early because I gotta start my job. Okay, great. And then I book an Uber, and there he is. A total fluke, but amazing. And so it's a lot of work. You know, I was all day, all night, not connecting with my team, not doing the things that I'm supposed to be doing, and then I still make time to be with people and make a 1 hour meetup because that hour was open, and it fuels me. But if it was something that I hated, just that half an hour, just 15 minutes, I'd start to feel like I'm burning out. Like, I don't want to be here. Like, this is terrible. And so I think it's really important that you're doing work that you love. That would be a burnout for other people, but not a burnout for you because you love it so much. So how do you find it? How do you find the work that you love? I got a 3-step process called Who, Why, How. I'm going to talk about it in depth in my next book, but let's do a super quick analysis here to help you guys who might be struggling. Step number 1 is who. So your who is your most important core value. What is your most important core value as a human being? Mine is believe. It's the one word most important core value for me. So when you figure out what it is that you stand for as a human, you can then look at your life and see where you're falling short. If you're unhappy with life, it's because you are living incongruently with your most important core value. So someone whose core value is freedom, as an example, you can look at your life. Like, are you allowed to be free? Are you free at work? Are you free in your relationships? Are you free, in these different areas? If not, then you're not going to be happy. That's why you're not happy. Because your boss doesn't allow you to have freedom. Mine is believe. So believe has to be in everything that I touch. If there's a situation that's lacking believe, I'm not going to be happy with it. So that just gives you already an indication of who you are and starts to make sense of your life going backwards and allows you to plan it better going forward. So it's one of the most important exercises I think anybody can do. Figure out what your who is. Who, I, how. Step 2 is why. So why is your purpose? Your purpose comes from your pain. Your purpose comes from the deepest, darkest, most painful moment in your life. Whatever that was, your purpose is to help other people who are currently going through that thing. Whatever you struggled with, suffered with, endured, felt like you never want to wish that on your worst enemy, never want to go back and experience again that pain. That's what I'm talking about. You want to help other people who are currently going through that pain, because there's a lot of people who are currently going through that thing. Who you were X number of years ago, there's a lot of people who are currently like that right now. That's who you want to help for life. That'll never get old. That's your purpose for life. I want to help entrepreneurs for life. I believe in entrepreneurs for life because I struggled so much as an entrepreneur, and I want to make the path a little bit easier for everybody else. So that's your why. And your who and your why are constant. They never change. Your core values and your purpose are for life, and that's amazing. The last step is how. Who, why, how. How is your passion. How is how you got out of the pain that you were in. So you struggled with something. How did you get out of it? You may not be fully out of it. Maybe you're still on your journey out of it, but you're further ahead than you used to be. How did you get out of it? Did you read books? Did you watch videos? Did you meditate? Did you walk your dogs? Did you listen to music? Like, how did you get out of it? How did you get out of it? And that is a recipe that you can teach other people. How you got out of it was not some random one-off situation. You can teach other people. So I struggled a lot with my business. I felt worthless as a human. I wanted to quit. I told my partner that I quit. How I got out of it was modeling success. I looked at Bill Gates, how he started Microsoft, and I applied those strategies to my business, and we started to see some success. 20 years later, what am I doing? Still modeling success. Right? I want to learn from Grant. I want to learn from Steve. I want to learn from Kanye. I want to learn from these people. It's why I keep creating this content. How I got out of it was studying success, and now I teach other people how to study success. Right? How you actually go about doing it may change. When I first started doing it 20 years ago, it was through books. Right? Now it's through videos. And in 10 years, 20 years, it's going to be through VR and a bunch of other technologies that I'm sure are coming. But the how you got out is a teachable recipe that you can give to other people. So if you're struggling with burnout and you think it's because you don't love the work that you're doing and you know that you're destined for something greater, that you do have Michael Jordan level talent at something, but you don't know what it is and you want to figure it out, figure it out. This is the process. This is the easiest process I know of to get there. Figure out your who, your one word most important core value, figure out your why, your purpose comes from your pain, and figure out your how, which is your passion, how you got out of it, you can teach other people, and that will set you up for an amazing life with hopefully very little burnout and definitely a lot of purpose. Success is a habit. Success is how you showed up today. So for me, success is, did I put my best effort in, right?
So as an example, today, all day, I'm just doing interviews, right? I had like 4 before you and another 6 after you. And my goal today is to create an interview that I'm going to be proud to show my grandkids, right? I want my grandkids, hey grandkids listening. Like I want this interview to be the one that I gave my best to and that my grandkids are going to listen to. That is success. At the end of the day, it's me saying I'm proud of myself for what I did, not hitting some goal. So learning to tie yourself, like what is success? Hitting 2 million subscribers, I didn't even want to celebrate. I didn't even care because the success for me isn't hitting the 1 million subscribers. Success for me is showing up today and having an impact. And so that's what I celebrate and pat myself on the back for every day, more than did I get a certain result.
What a lot of times people do is they have this idea and you love the idea. It's like, this is my big idea. This is going to be my masterpiece and it's just going to change the world. And it's so exciting. And it's so easy to live in that future world of how exciting everything's going to be. But the more you live there, the bigger the idea gets. And then you realize, I need a team and I need to have all these people. And then to make that happen, I need to raise $1 million. And you just make it bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger that it becomes impossible to ever actually do. And then you get depressed. Like, I can never go out and do that. Like, who am I to go out and do that? Mm-hmm. Where what I encourage people to do is have a big goal, have a big dream. You need to, but then act small. You're thinking big and you're acting small. So whatever it is that you want to do, find one small way to just get started. So to start a YouTube channel, you don't need to have an editor and a researcher and a production team and be great at all of this stuff. Like, just do a video and expect it to suck and be okay with it sucking, and then just suck a little bit less the next day. Like, people will make a video and then, or they'll make their first product or whatever it is and it will suck. And then they know it looks good. They know that if they watch a big YouTuber or they see somebody else's product, they know, like, well, that's what looks good and I can't make that, and so I suck and I'm never going to try again. It's taking the big vision and living there and loving it, but finding the smallest possible action to get started today, know that it's going to suck, and just keep the continuous momentum going every single day.
I would equate a lot of my fulfillment comes from the growth that I'm getting. A lot of my fulfillment comes from like talking to you and making this show and talking about Cleveland and sharing stories and trying to help other entrepreneurs. Like, that's deeply fulfilling for me. This isn't work for me. This is like the second I look at my calendar, it's like, oh man, really? I got to talk to Jad. Come on. Like, if that's my mindset, I'm out. Like, I'm not doing those things anymore. This is deeply fulfilling for me. Balance, I think, is a very personal question and will adjust throughout time for every human. So what your version of balance looks like is going to be different than mine, than The Rock, than somebody else. When you hear The Rock talk about his calendar, he needs to work out for 5 hours a day or something crazy. And so when he's on set, he has to wake up 5 hours early to go work out. And then he'll go and do his movie. And I think that's crazy. That's not balance for me. But if you hear him talk about being in the gym, it's his Zen zone. It's his, like, he needs it. That's part of balance for him, right? So I'd rather be sleeping. I'd be sleeping in my trailer. I would not be working out 5 hours, a day. But I don't look like The Rock, when you get the results. So you have to figure out what balance looks like for you. I think there are definitely moments where you can lean in on gratitude and what you've got. But also want more and strive to go and get more. I think for the most part, though, people need to be harder on themselves. Like, I'd say 95% of the time, you need to be harder on yourself. And 5% of the time, you have to be more gentle on yourself. Like, right. When you feel like you can't go anymore, when you've actually, like, I did my tour with a broken neck. Like the second half, or the last third of my tour was with a broken neck. And it wasn't, when I showed up to Cleveland, I wasn't as good a presenter as I was before I broke my neck, right? I had to just sit at the front of the room and I couldn't move for 4 hours while I'm trying to help people who are in the room. But I'm really proud of the effort that I put in, right? Absolutely. And so all that really matters is, are you proud of you? If I had to skip Cleveland, like if I was in so much pain and I just skipped Cleveland, everybody would have understood. Everybody would have said, hey, it's okay. Like, dude, you broke your neck. Don't worry about it. And if I was proud of that, then fine. I would do it because I had hit my max. But I felt like I had a little bit more Just a little bit more. Let's show up for Cleveland. Let's make it happen. Come on. We got one more stop. Man. We got to, like, don't skip them over, because I'm in Toronto. So we're pretty close.
Yep.
So it's like, okay, don't skip Cleveland. Just let's go. Let's do one more, and like we'll hit Toronto after.
There you go.
Yeah, and I'm proud of that. So all that really matters is, are you proud of you? You know, not what other people say, but when you look at yourself in the mirror, are you proud of what you put in today? And if that means you need to lean on gratitude one day, and the next day you have to lean more into working harder for your goals, that's the inside game that everybody needs to play. But in general, I think you need to be much harder on yourself, because you're capable of more, and you need to push that. Just move the brake line. Sure. Like wherever you would normally give yourself a break, just move it a little bit. Don't like get all the way out here. It's just like, just move it a little bit.
Just an inch.
Just move it. Just move the brake line forward just a little bit. Because you made it this far in a video, I want to celebrate you. Most people start and don't finish. Most people never actually follow through. Most people say they want something, but they don't ever do the work to actually get it. But you are different. You are special. Believe Nation, you made it here all the way to the end, and I love you. So as a special celebration, if you put a hashtag believe down in the comments below on this video, I will showcase you and celebrate you somewhere on the screen in a future video, because you are awesome. For 10 more amazing rules from Gary Vee, check the video right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
How do you assign value? What is value when it comes to determining that perceived value from a consumer's perspective of any particular piece of IP that you have, whether it's VeeFriends, whether it's this NBA All-Star?
It's the only thing I think about.